Hey everybody, how's it going? DistantCoder here, and we are back with another episode of Rulings. Now, I look a little bit different than usual, you know? I've been going out in the sun. I've been enjoying the beautiful, beautiful Canadian atmosphere. And today I have a really special guest for Rulings. Some have said this is the greatest judge in the history of time. The smartest individual since Kazuki Takahashi himself. The one, the only, DistantCoder.
Yo, what's going on, guys? How's it going, dude?
It's going great. How does it feel to finally be on DistantCoder's YouTube channel?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. This feels a little bit weird. I'm used to being in your seat, but now you're in the you're in the chill seat. You're in the I know everything seat. You're not the one being put on the spot. Like, I don't know usually what it's like to feel, you know, being the one asked the questions. Like, people ask me questions all the time, but they're never trying to stump me when they do. But now I feel like I'm actually gonna get stumped today, but I'm sure I can clutch this out.
I will tell you, I gotta look at these answers, look at these questions, and if you don't get 8 out of 8, you're gonna have to retire from judging.
Oh, I mean, my God.
And I believe that is in fact the threshold. If Coder doesn't get a perfect score, he is going to be sent to the content mines to edit old Farfa clips, and we can't have that. So today we are going to do an archetype that Coder is known for. I'm talking, of course, about Pacifist the Phantasm City.
I love that deck. Yeah, Phantasm Spiral, best deck ever. Let's go.
I'm actually getting word that is not what we are doing. We're waiting for the new support. We are doing Unchained Rulings. Have you played this deck before?
Only a bit, only a little bit. I definitely haven't been literally playing it every day of my life for the past year and a half. Absolutely not.
And what are your feelings about evenly matched, would you say?
I think the card's really nice when it's in my hand. When it's in the opponent's hand, however, I don't like it as much.
Great. Well, do you feel confident that you know your Unchained rulings? You've had a year and a half to practice, and now we're going to put them to the test.
I feel like I know the Unchained rulings very well. I feel like the only way I'm going to get stumped is if the people who have made this quiz, because as usual, I'm normally the one who makes the quizzes, but the people that have made this quiz, that being Lantern and N-Man, are the type of people that I know will know where to dig to find some really obscure shit. So I'm excited to see what they've brought to the table, and I am ready to go.
All right, then let's jump into question 1. In this scenario, Zoodiac Choconine is going to be equipped with Zoodiac Thoroughblade and Zoodiac Whiptail. Now, the Zoodiacs have a special quality that gives the Xyz monster that they are under an additional effect. Whiptails banishes a monster that it destroys by battle after damage calculation. So in this scenario, your opponent attacks your Unchained twins Arua with their Zoodiac Choconine, but has a Zoodiac Whiptail and a Zoodiac Thoroughblade attached as materials. At the end of the damage step, can you activate the second effect of Arua?
So this is actually a scenario that we saw a lot back in Zoodiac format, actually, which is the same thing that you saw with, Bow Baboon. So in this situation, what actually happens is, even though the Zoodiac Choconine is bigger than the Aruha and would destroyed by battle, during damage calculation, you determine that the Aruha would be destroyed by that battle, but monsters that are destroyed by battle aren't actually physically destroyed and sent to the graveyard until the end of the damage step. But if I remember correctly, Whiptail triggers during after damage calculation. If you can mouse over that for me, it is indeed during after damage calculation. So in this case, after damage calculation, the Aruha will get banished, and because it was not on field when you entered end of the damage step, it was not physically destroyed from the field, it was simply banished, so Aruha won't be able to trigger, and that is my final answer.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
All right, let's see if you're right. The Choconine goes in, the effect is declared, the Arua is banished, and yes, you are correct!
1 for 1!
In this scenario, Arua was banished by the effect of Choconine after damage calculation, and that means Arua is not destroyed by the battle. See, we're already an 1/8 of the way there.
Easy peasy. We are an 1/8 of the way there. 1 for 1, dude. Easy clap.
All right, it is now time for question number 2. Now, we have the most powerful board setup that Unchained can manage here. We've got Serrama and a dog in graveyard.
Very based, yeah, you love to see it.
And it's playing against the most based card in the history of time. I'm talking about Totally Awesome with double Dupe Frog under it. You know, always want to give up the Dupe Lock so you can have one negate.
The combo.
let's say you've got a Serrama on your side of the field and it's your turn.
Okay.
You activate the first effect of Unchained Twins Serrama by targeting the Unchained Soul of Disaster in your graveyard. In response, your opponent activates the second effect of Totally Awesome. And then we will decide to set the Serrama to our side of the field. Now, when that effect resolves, your opponent chooses to set the Serrama after negating the activation and destroying it.
Okay.
And after this chain has resolved, can you activate the second effect of Serrama, which allows you to special summon an Unchained monster from your hand or deck?
My answer is no. You cannot activate the effect of Serrama because cards need to be in the location where they met their trigger in order to be allowed to activate. So in this case, because the Serrama is not in the location where it met its trigger, that being the graveyard, it's now on the field. Before it had the chance to activate, it will not be able to activate here. So my final answer, Serrama cannot activate.
Wow, you did not break a sweat. You are correct.
Let's go!
In fact, although Serrama was destroyed by a card effect, just like you said, because it's not in the graveyard where it was sent after being destroyed, you cannot activate the second effect of Serrama. Wow, you are annihilating these.
Doubters in shambles, bro. I'm giving the believers their points today, bro.
Well, let's see if you can keep it up for question number 3.
Pog.
Now, you can see that you have the most powerful board in the history of time. You've got a copy of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, a copy of Rakia. God, I hope I'm saying that right.
It's
And a copy
Rakia,
of
bro.
Beast
What do you mean?
Oh, this is Rakia? How did you get Rakia from this?
Well, I mean, by reading the letters on the card.
Okay, well, that is a skill that I do not possess. However, I do possess a Raigeki.
Okay.
And this is about to go very south very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's say, hypothetically, that you
Okay.
activate the effect of Rakia here.
Okay.
And then, after your Bean Soldier is destroyed, let's say you just, hate its ugly mug, you want it off the field.
You just want to go -1, yeah?
Raigeki triggers,
Mm-hmm.
fires, destroys the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, and now the question is, even though you have activated the effect of Unchained Twins Rakia, which locks you into Fiend monsters, are you permitted to activate the second effect of Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer to summon a Destiny Hero?
Yeah. So
Yep.
the answer to this is that you are allowed to activate the effect of the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, and the reason why is specifically because it's not an effect that would perform a summon at the moment where the effect is activating. So you could be under like Vanity's Fiend, you could be under the Rakia lock, or whatever the heck. You're making me like mispronounce my own cards. I hate you. you could be under the I can't Rakia Coder Rakia. So you can be under the Rakia Fiend restriction. You could be under Vanity's Emptiness or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter because it's a delayed summon and it's not an effect that when it resolves immediately performs a summon. You are legally allowed to activate it. Those kind of effects will only check whether or not you can perform that summon at the moment when the summon actually occurs. So yes, you are allowed to activate the Enforcer here. Final answer.
Let's see. In fact, you are. Even though you cannot special summon monsters, because you're not special summoning a monster when the effect resolves, you can still activate DPE. Wow!
Let's
You're correct
go,
again!
dude.
You are killing it, dude! 3 of
Easy!
8.
3 for 3 so far. I'm down, bro.
I'll tell you this. The first 3, they were kind of gimmies. These next 5, they're going to really test yourself.
No,
If you can keep it up.
stop.
It is now time for question 4, and this is a radically different board state. I imagine this is something that has probably come up for you before.
I already know where this is going. I already know.
No, come on! So we've got a Serrama on the field. We've got an Abominable Unchained Soul in the graveyard. The opponent has a Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion in the hand. So for this one, you activate the effect of the Serrama, targeting the Abominable Unchained Soul in your graveyard. Can the effect of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion be activated in response?
So the answer to this is yes, it is allowed to be activated in response because even though Serrama specifically targets a card in the grave and says, set it to your field, then destroy 1 card you control, if Serrama was to target an Unchained spell or trap card, of which there are. There even is a spell, even though no one plays Wailing. If it was to target a spell or trap card, it would set it to the field, but because it's not a monster, it doesn't treat it as a summon. But anytime a card like this says to set a monster to your field, be it by Totally Awesome, which is like the one that most people will know, Serrama works the exact same way, where if it targets a monster, it is treated as a special summon. That setting of the monster does count towards the Biru and is special summoning a monster for the purposes of the Ghost Bell. So my answer here is they are allowed to activate Serrama. Final answer.
Wow. You are correct.
Let's
yes,
go.
That's exactly it. Yes, the effect of Serrama includes an effect that will special summon a monster from the graveyard, and for that reason, you can Ghost Bell it. Wow, you are. This is the first one I screwed up, and I imagine that is going to be a running feature for the remainder of these. Okay, it is now time for question number 5, and I believe this is probably another setup that you are familiar with if you've played the deck. You've got the dog on your side of the field. Your opponent has, of course, the best card in Yu-Gi-Oh! In their hand, Raigeki, and you've got a couple of copies of Abominable Unchained Soul in your hand. Why are you playing 2 of this card? You should only play 1, so you can't brick.
No, you absolutely play 2. Going second, I actually play 3 because this card's nice for chain blocking.
My gosh. All right, let's say that this is your turn 1 end board. Your opponent begins with a Raigeki, sending your monster to the graveyard.
Okay.
Now, in the following chain, are you able to activate the first effect of both of your 2 copies of Abominable Unchained Soul?
So, Abominable Unchained Soul, actually, funny enough, does not have any once per turn like restrictions on its effect other than the end phase effect, which actually doesn't matter. A bomb, the only once per turn restriction is that it can only be summoned once per turn. So you technically are allowed to activate the in-hand effect of a bomb multiple times in the same turn. Say it constantly gets like negated by like, you know, they go like Boral Savage or something like that. You can keep activating it and activating it when you have a card that gets popped. However, when you have multiples in hand, you're not allowed to activate both of them in the same chain due to an old precedent set by this card called Green Baboon. Green Baboon also is a trigger effect that special summons itself from the hand. And due to Green Baboon, way back in the days, Konami made this rule that you are not allowed to trigger multiple trigger effects that would special summon a monster from the hand. So in this reason, you are not allowed to activate both Abominable Unchained Souls. You are only allowed to activate 1 in the following chain. That is my final answer.
Coder, you are correct once again.
Let's go!
You baited me on that one. I was like, yeah, we got him. He said more than once per turn. Yes. Oh my gosh. Green Baboon was where you were pulling from?
Yo, Green Baboon. That's how you know this. Like, this is the precedent, dude.
Oh, wow. Yeah, as you said, yes, you can only activate 1 copy of Abominable Unchained Soul in 1 chain. Wow, Doubter's absolutely seething.
Yeah. Yo, 3 more to go, and once we get those, you get the big ol' 8 out of 8. I refuse to get less than 8.
You've got a copy of Unchained Soul of Anguish, the red doggy. Your opponent has, and this is a fusion monster from the Cyberdarkness.
Oh, this
structure.
is a new Cyberdark card. I don't know what this card does.
Cyberdark End Dragon. Now, the important part of this card is this text right here, unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. You activate the effect of Unchained Soul of Anguish, targeting your opponent's Cyberdark End Dragon. After the effect resolves, what happens?
Okay, so this is actually a lot simpler than it seemed to be because I was scared because I didn't know what this card did. But in this scenario, the way this works, the effect of Anguish is really weird because it's both an effect but also performs a link summon as part of a game mechanic. And the reason why that's interesting is because in order to be allowed to link summon with your opponent's monster, you need to be able to affect that opponent's monster. However, in order to, when you actually perform the summon, it doesn't perform a summon as part of an effect, which is why a lot of people get this like incorrectly. So in this scenario, when the opponent's monster is unaffected by card effect, you are allowed to Anguish target it, and in this case, the Anguish will resolve without effect, and it will not affect the opponent's monster. and simply nothing will happen. So in this case, because the opponent's monster is unaffected, you are not going to be able to link summon with the opponent's monster.
Can I get a final answer?
That is a final answer. You will not successfully link it off.
Coder, you are correct!
Let's go!
Cyberdark End Dragon is unaffected by activated effects. You are not able to use it as link material for a link summon, and you do not perform a link summon, and both monsters remain on the field. Wow!
Easy.
Oh, you are taking me for a ride, walking me through the wrong outcome, and then switching at the last minute. Oh, gosh. Can you think of a word to describe this effect activating and then failing to resolve? Some sort of six-letter word that starts with an F?
It's fucked. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
All right. Kid gloves are off. It's time to get into the last two questions, and I'll just let you know, they're real rough.
Okay.
This one is going to require you to digest an extremely complicated board state, as I'm sure you can already see.
Okay.
We got the Topologic Bomber Dragon. And the only zone a Link monster does not point to. We've got a Bean Soldier. We have an Unchained Soul of Rage, a set copy of Abominable Chamber of the Unchained, and the opponent also has 2 set copies of Abominable Chamber of the Unchained. It's a mirror. Can't you tell by the Bean Soldier?
Very nice. Yeah, the Bean Soldier is the kicker that proves that this is an Unchained mirror.
The Topologic Bomber player is going to activate an Abominable Chamber of the Unchained, which allows them to special and Unchained from your hand or graveyard. We have a Unchained Twins Rakia in the graveyard.
Okay.
Going to summon the Rakia to a link point of Topologic Bomber Dragon.
All right.
The Abominable Chamber will go to the graveyard, and the Topologic Bomber Dragon will trigger on a new chain.
Okay.
The opponent will chain their own copy of Abominable Chamber of the Unchained and trigger its effect. As Chain Link 2, they will activate the effect of Unchained Soul of Rage, targeting the Bean Soldier.
The Bean! Okay.
Let's resolve this chain backwards. We're going to go into a copy of Topologic Trisbana.
Yo, illegal summon! Needing effect monsters on a Bean Soldier. Nice!
Whoa, no. It's got an effect. The effect is that it's a plant warrior that attacks with seeds and swords.
Oh, right. I didn't... Why didn't I think of that? It's the same thing as Mudball Man, obviously. Yeah,
Exactly.
that makes sense.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, you're correct. Yeah, it's literally Mudball Man. That's fine. Okay, understandable.
At resolution, we'll
So you
summon
summon
this
that.
Unchained Soul of Disaster to a link point pointed to by the Topologic Trisbana.
Okay.
Continuing to resolve the chain, the Topologic Bomber Dragon will send every monster on the field to the graveyard.
Okay.
After the chain has resolved, can the effect of Topologic Trisbana be activated?
Oh, I like this question. I like this question a lot. The answer to this is yes. The Topologic Trisbana is allowed to activate because there was a monster that was summoned to the zone that it points to. It doesn't have to still be there when the chain resolves in order for the Trisbana to be allowed to activate. So in this case, the Trisbana is allowed to activate on resolution. I think it actually must activate. This is mandatory, right? It is mandatory. So Trisbana must activate in the new chain as Chain Link 1 here.
Can I get a final answer?
That is my final answer.
Coder, you are correct again!
Let's go!
7 out of 8.
Let's
It's a monster
go!
was special to the zone Trisbana points to, even though it is no longer on the field, its effect is going to activate.
Very pog. You love to
You're
see
doing
it.
great.
I'm curious. What weird, messed up interaction did you guys get to like try to throw me off? I have no idea.
I think you are really going to like this last one. It's got some cards from your absolute favorite format to answer judge calls from.
You're not getting me a GOAT question.
Well, Coder, you are 7 for 7. And you have
Yeah.
every opportunity to choke right here. We have got the most powerful card in the game, the Judge Man himself.
Oh, I know what you're asking me.
And it's facing down a card that you probably answer a significant amount of GOAT-related questions to, Relinquished. Now, this is not GOAT format rules. We're using current rules. The Relinquished has a Rakia attached, and the question is exceptionally simple. All we need to know is that if your opponent controls a Relinquished equipped with an Unchained Twin Rakia, and if you attack that Relinquished with your Judge Man, at which point in the damage step is Rakia destroyed instead of relinquished? And can the second effect of Rakia be activated?
Okay, I know where this is going. And I know the reason why this is being asked. Because I know the answer to this question. And do you want to know the reason why I know the answer to this question, Joseph?
Yes, please. How do you possibly know this?
It's good that you're the one that's hosting this right now, because the reason why I know the answer to this question is because of one of the questions that I put in your quiz when you were a contestant on this show. So I did hero rulings with you, and I tried to get a really dope Destiny Hero Plasma question. And for some reason, I thought that Destiny Hero Plasma had that battle protection effect as well. So I looked into Relinquished and Thousand Eyes Restrict rulings on the database to try to find something to ask with Plasma. And when I found out that Plasma didn't have the battle protection effect, I scrapped the idea altogether. But this is one of those things that you find on the database and not something that you would ultimately know. And the reason why is because normally, like I said back in the first question on this quiz, right, with the Aruha and the Whiptail, I said that a monster that's destroyed by battle is only actually physically destroyed and sent to the graveyard when you enter the end of the damage step. But for some odd reason, I remember on the Thousand Eyes Restrict page in the database, it specifically says that for Thousand Eyes Restrict, and I assume Relinquished works the same way, I believe that it said something along the lines of the monster that's equipped to it is destroyed after damage calculation and not during end of the damage step, which seems insanely counterintuitive, but I remember specifically looking up this exact interaction when doing the Plasma rulings for your quiz. So for that reason, I'm going to lock in my answer at the Rakia is destroyed instead of the Relinquished during the substep of the damage step, which is the after damage calculation substep. And because the Rakia is destroyed by a card effect, because a substitution effect is still destroyed by a card effect, the Rakia is allowed to activate its effect. So here, the Rakia is destroyed during after damage calculation and is allowed to activate its effect. Final answer.
Coder, all the marbles. You are absolutely
Let's go!
8 out of 8!
Let's go! Easy!
How did you do this? This was a Slumdog Millionaire moment. You literally pulled it from the ether. There's no reason that should be destroyed in after damage calculation, but it is absolutely correct. After you determine Relinquish is going to be destroyed by battle during damage calculation, the card that is equipped to it is destroyed after damage calculation. As you said, a substitution effect is sufficient for Rakia to trigger, which means that you have gotten every single one right, and the doubters have lost everything.
Oh god, yes. Yo, I cannot thank you enough for forcing me to make you do hero rulings, because oh my god, I would have never gone over the Thousand Eyes Restrict database entries if it wasn't for the fact that I wanted to do something interesting with Plasma. That is all thanks to you.
Wow, and it has paid off. You are, I believe, the first person to get 8 out of 8 on your own quiz.
I am the first person on my own show to have scored an 8 out of 8 score. Jesus.
And of course, if anyone thinks they can match Coder, you can always hit him up. People who are known for a deck, pro players, Yugi tubers, famous people within the community, let the boy know that you think that you can outplay him like he outplayed everyone in chat today. Congratulations, man. Unbelievable.
Thanks, my dude. I appreciate it. All right, man. That was wild. Yo, Endman, and Lantern, and whoever else helped did a really, really dope job. But anyways, guys, I do want to thank all of you guys that are watching over on YouTube. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you liked the video. Honestly, this was a wild ride. But hey, the very first 8 out of 8, and I think I've proven at this point that I know my stuff, and there's a reason why I'm the one who hosts this show. I do want to extend a very big thanks to Joseph. Thank you, Mr. MBT. Go check him out at MBT Yu-Gi-Oh! On YouTube chat. I really, really appreciate Joseph for coming on and taking up the mantle and doing really well as he did for hosting this show in my stead. I appreciate that, Joseph. Thank you so much.
Hey, no problem.
So anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Peace!